Welcome to the Jill on Money Show. It's Thursday, May 23rd, and we are here trying to help you make better financial decisions or maybe get a little bit of coaching or mentoring on the side. If that's you, you need a little assistance, regardless of whether you have a lot of money, a little money, you're young, you're old, doesn't matter. We're here for everyone. If you'd like to get in touch with us, just go to our website, jillonmoney.com, click the Contact Us button. And if you want to join us on the air, there's a little box. You check the box, and Mark does everything else. He's magical in that way. And while you're there on our website, bookmark it because the content refreshes all the time. And we've got other shows. We've got a blog. We've got resources. You can sign up for the free weekly newsletter. And you can also subscribe to Jill on Money Live. That is a service where you have access to quarterly live webinars. Hey, Mark, have we nailed down our live webinar for June? Can I just say what the topic is so everybody gets all excited?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Can give it to them? Give them the old network tease. Coming up at our next webinar, guess what, gang? It is a Social Security expert. And boy, we all need it because there are too many ins and outs with the Social Security system. So if you have questions about claiming strategies, if you want to know whether Social Security is going broke or not, I don't think so. If you want to know the idea around IRMA, about like Medicare and all these different issues, you have to be a member of Jill on Money Live, $35. By the way, you'd probably pay $35 just to hear someone talk about Social Security and explain it for an hour. This is $35 for the whole year. And we are excited about this because this is a great expert. So anyway, that's our next Jill on Money Live, but we also have special video content that lives behind the paywall. So you got to check it out. All right. So today we are talking to listener Joan, who is on the line from Portland, Oregon. Hello, Joan. How are you?
Hi, Jill. I'm doing very well. Thank you.
Great. What brings you to us today?
Well, I just turned 59 and I retired from a corporate job 4 years ago. I'm single. I just want some advice on how to best navigate withdrawing money when I'm ready to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I do have a pension and I found a really fun part-time job that I'm working on right now. So I do have monthly income that supports my monthly expenses.
So you're saying the pension and your fun part-time job cover your expenses?
Correct. My monthly expenses.
That's amazing.
I haven't needed to dip into any of my retirement money in the 4 years that I have left my previous job.
All right. Question.
Okay.
So how hard was it to make the decision to leave?
Not hard at all.
Really?
Because
people have
planning.
Like a hard time. People are like struggle and they
Yeah.
So what do I need to tell people? You've retired and you are now on the other side of this. Give us some advice to help our listeners who are in your situation about how you successfully navigated this. Tell us about your story a little bit.
Okay. Well, I've always wanted to be able to retire at 55. So I made a strategic, goals for myself to pay off a mortgage by a certain age, to hit the $1 million mark. It was just something that was my personal goal. I'm just responsible for myself. I don't have any children. Mm-hmm. So it's just little old me. Mm-hmm. And so my job, it was pretty stressful, and not that I hated it, but it wasn't something where I wake up in the morning and look forward to it.
Mm-hmm.
So I figured, you know what, there is no right time to leave. The more time you spend, the more money you make, it's just harder and harder to leave. So I thought, you know what, there's no better time. And so when COVID hit, my company offered voluntary layoff. So I jumped right on it. So I was able to walk away with a very generous severance package, which I put it right into my account, and I haven't dipped into that either. And I have no regrets.
That's awesome. Did you line up the part-time job before you left?
No. So during COVID, so I left right at the beginning of COVID. And so, of
Mm-hmm.
course, for 2 years, I stayed at home. And I found that I'm just not the retire type. I got so bored. And so I wanted to find something fun. So I went and started looking, and I found this really fun job, and I'm loving it.
That's great.
I work 25 hours, and it's extra income that I did not plan for, but
Yep.
I welcome it.
Yeah, really. No kidding.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
how do you get covered for healthcare?
I'm lucky enough that I am able to stay on my company retiree medical until I qualify for Medicare.
Oh, that's a
So
big part of it,
it is,
though, right?
that's, and I only pay $200 a month
Oh my gosh.
for it. And it's pretty comprehensive. So I'm very, very blessed to be able to
Uh,
have that. If not, I would not have left my job
Because
because
I
that
do
would
hear,
have
I
been
think that there are
huge.
people who are kind of taught,
Mhm.
it's so funny. It's like when people say golden handcuffs, I mean, I work with people at
Mhm.
CBS who are in the similar situation. They might be in their 50s or they have a good pension or they have this, but they're like, well, some of these old pensions don't have health care. And so when they go in, look at the cost of health care, and they start kind of staring that down, in the face, and they're like, I'll stick around for a little bit longer and be
Yep.
covered. So you're right. It is a great gift.
Yes.
So you're not dipping into any of your savings at this point, right?
Correct.
And is most of your money that you have accumulated, is it in a pre-tax retirement? Is it in brokerage? Like how did you
Okay.
save for yourself?
Do you want me to give you the breakdown?
Why not?
Okay. So I have 1.7 mil in my company 401k that I just left it there. I didn't move it elsewhere.
Okay.
I have 1.5 in taxable mutual funds that I had contributed to while I was working for 20 to 30 years. There's a total of 4, so it's about 1.5.
Mm-hmm.
I have 70,000 in money market that's earning about 4%.
Great.
I have 300K in CDs with various maturity date and various interest rate. They're
Mm-hmm.
all probably 4 to 5%. I normally just do one year, nothing greater than 1 year. So I kind of ladder it.
Great.
I have about 220 or 230 in Roth IRA, some mutual funds, and a couple individual stocks.
Okay, this is great. And you own your home, which is paid
I
off.
own-
How much is it worth?
Okay. Probably 2.4 to 2.6 mil.
Wow. And do you want to stay there?
Yes.
Okay. So this is like the embarrassment of riches question. Joan
Okay.
from Portland is essentially in great shape, obviously. So but you also said, I think very self-aware, hey, it was just me. I took care of myself. You probably made a lot of money when you were working, socked it away, and you were very goal-oriented, which is fantastic. So do you have anyone else you have to think about? Do you have aging parents or siblings or nieces and nephews or, a boyfriend, girlfriend that you're like, I really want to make sure I take care of this person? Like anyone that you can think of like that?
Yes, I have all of that. And
Okay.
so based on my personality, I don't think I'm going to, spend down to the last penny. So I'm sure I will be leaving, whatever I don't use to them. And I think that's part of the problem is I've been geared to save for 30 years. And now I actually have a fear of spending money.
This is totally common. I cannot, this must be a special, this is a little bit of a Jill on Money special listener type. Okay. We run into people like you all the time. And I think part of the reason is that we are, if you are completely focused on long-term saving and investing in what we like to call your accumulation phase, right? That's what's built into your brain. You have been told this over and over and over, like save, put a little bit away, be consistent, Now you've done that your whole life. No one has taught us how to decumulate after accumulating. And so I think what is very challenging about that is if you're the type of person who's been doing that your whole life, how to shift. Yep. And maybe part of the shift has to do with how we're going to try to get some of the money out of that company 401k so that when you turn 75, you are not walloped with like this massive required minimum distribution.
Okay,
Because as
perfect.
you know that, right? You know that,
Yes,
like, because you're
yes.
only 59, you're
Yep.
going to have, 15, 16 years here where if you do nothing with that company 401k, then you're going to be facing very big numbers. Ideally, if you wanted to maximize your wealth and what you're doing, what we would be doing is we would say, okay, let's take that company 401k, let's convert it to a Roth environment, and let's do it, over time and get that money out. But now I'm worried that if I do that for you, it's going to sit in the Roth and you're never going to spend it. Okay, so how much money, what's your total income right now, Joan?
I take home approximately 5,000 a month.
Okay.
Can I interrupt you on
Yeah, sure.
the converting to Roth? So currently, I some of my biggest expenses every year. I mean, I'm able to manage my monthly expenses, food, grocery, all that kind of stuff with
Sure.
my monthly take home.
Mm-hmm.
However, I do have a huge property tax bill.
Yep.
I do have to pay estimated taxes because
Mm-hmm.
of the four mutual funds that generate
Yep.
dividends and capital gains.
Yep.
So I'm already paying for my IRS 15,000 every year. So
Yeah.
by converting, is that still better than waiting for RMD? You know what I mean? At 75.
Well, first of all, I mean, when you're making that, how much the property tax you're paying when you say 15,000? Are you saying quarterly estimates of
Oh,
15,000?
no, I'm
No.
sorry. The whole year, just
Okay.
estimated taxes,
Okay,
which
that's
to
like
me, it's like a lot, but maybe
okay.
it's
Calm
not.
down. Calm down. Calm
Okay.
down. Jeez. Oh my God. Okay.
Okay.
So what's happening is when you have that 15,000, are you pulling that out of your CDs or your money market to pay those estimates?
Sometimes if I don't have enough in my money market, I will do that.
Okay. So what I'm going to suggest is this. So yes, I get it. Property tax on a $2.5 million house is a lot. And you have money that is being generated from these mutual funds, which, by the way, I'm not thrilled about, but we'll talk about that separately. But
Okay.
what I think might be helpful is right now, I think that your top tax bracket is 22% because you're not making, you don't have an adjusted, even with those distributions. Is your adjusted gross income above 100 grand?
A little bit over 100.
Okay. So your top bracket is 24%. All right.
Okay. Yep.
I mean, obviously, once you start, is your plan to claim Social Security when you're 70?
That is my plan.
Okay. So I think between now and age 70, we can use the fact that you're in the top bracket of 24% to take some money out of your company 401k and pay the tax on it. Just like
Okay.
very, very easy. You don't have to make it a lot. You can take 50 grand if you wanted to. Okay.
Okay.
And just
Okay.
say, but now I want you to spend that money.
Okay.
Can you? Would you? If I told you, you know what, you got to take 50 grand out of your company 401k, I need you to spend half of it.
Okay. Well, that's the thing. I am splurging on upcoming vacation. I'm
Good.
spending a lot of money. And then I'm just like, oh my God, is this going to open up a door for me to like this become the norm?
Why
And
not? Why can't
okay,
it
I
be?
want, I guess
How much money do you want to spend on a splurgy trip?
okay. So on this trip, I'm probably spending probably between 25 to 30K
So if you did
because,
that every year,
okay.
that would be wonderful.
And
That's your
I can afford
splurge.
it. I'm not
Yes.
going to run out of money.
No, you
Okay.
can't. You can't.
Okay.
You would
Okay.
not. You're not going to run
Okay.
out of money. Also, you're like constitutionally incapable of really like spending beyond that kind of a splurge, it sounds like. And I would pull the money. I think I would pull the money out of the 401k. But I want to talk about these taxable mutual funds. What kind of funds are these? They're managed funds that are creating a tax event?
So I have Vanguard Star Fund. I have a
Oh,
Vanguard Growth Index.
yeah.
I have a capital T. Rowe Price Capital Appreciation, and I have a Mayor's Empower Growth Fund. I
Okay.
stopped contributing 4 years ago. These were four funds that I did when I
Yep.
was working, putting it aside, dollar cost averaging.
Yep. But they
Yeah.
all have very low cost basis, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So, are you charitably inclined by the way?
Yeah, I am.
Have you looked so you have is this all held at Vanguard?
No, they're kind of spread out.
What I might do is I would try to consolidate and I would look at opening a donor advised fund
Okay.
and here's how this works. This will help you if you're going to take some money out. So with a donor advised fund, which is basically, you can do this at Vanguard or T. Rowe Price or Fidelity. These are all, like, all the big companies have this. All right. And what happens is you have an account, and it is basically the account from which you make charitable donations. Now, the cool thing is you can take something with a low cost basis. Let's say you're like this growth, what did you say? The M&G Growth Fund or something?
Mayors Empower Growth Fund.
Okay. I have no idea what that is, but let's just presume that is like something. It sounds to me like there's trading that's going on. I bet that's the one that distributes a lot. You take a low basis fund and you now gift shares of the fund into the donor advised fund. Okay. You pay no tax on that money. It is whatever that value is. It goes into and now the money goes into the donor advised fund, and that money comes in, it's cash. So you're like, I'm putting it in here. And now it goes in. And once it's in the donor advised fund, you don't have to give it away at all at once. You could do some this year, some next year, some the next year. It's a great way to be like, okay, if you looked at your tax return from last year and you said, well, what I actually did was I gave away 10 grand last year. And you said, over the next 5 years, I'm going to do the same thing. You just gift from this fund.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And you get a great tax advantage from doing so.
Okay.
And now it takes the money that's inefficient in a managed mutual fund that's creating a tax liability, gives you and you can do this. You know, it's very interesting. The money you put in the donor advised fund, okay? If you're pulling money out of your 401k and at the same time putting money into the donor advised fund, it has like a balancing effect on your tax situation, because you have income coming from the 401k, but you are now putting money into your donor advised fund where you'll get a tax deduction. And so it is do you work with a CPA?
No, and that's my problem is I've been doing it all by myself, and I don't know where to go to find like a good, reputable person to help me.
You have no friends who are like have a good accountant or somebody, or do you want a financial planner?
I haven't really asked, so I'll have to do research on that.
I would look at that. I also might even tell you that, like, look, you got a lot of money. You're doing a great job. There's nothing bad that's going to happen, but there could be some interesting ideas here where even if you looked and you talked to a CPA and just said, look, I'm going to pull money out of my 401k. I'm thinking about doing a donor advised fund at the same time. Or maybe you'll just talk to somebody at Vanguard where they have a service of advice and you can pay someone for that.
Okay.
I mean, and I don't know, like you said, you have all your accounts in different places. Can you pick one place and just hold it there?
Yeah, I can do that. I
would do. Where is the Roth held?
Charles Schwab.
So just pick one place. If it's Charles Schwab, that's great. Schwab has this also. Schwab has a donor advised fund. You can talk to somebody. And if you needed a CPA or a financial planner, then ask some of your friends, chit chat. I'm just scared that someone's going to try to sell you product. You don't you need advice. You need someone you can pay for advice, but not product.
Okay. Okay. So are you saying that I should start doing the withdrawing for tax sufficiency, the donor advice fund from one of my mutual fund and put that in there?
Yeah.
And then in addition, do I start now at 59 withdrawing?
I want you to pull some money out of that 401k.
Now?
Yeah, why not? At 59 and a half or 60. Yeah, pull some money out. That is going to create a massive tax liability for you. Like if you let this money grow and it goes to $4 million, let's just pretend you had $4 million in this account right now and you were 75 years old. You'd have to you know what your RMD would be? $160,000.
Okay.
That'd be huge. And no choice, no control. So let's get some of this money out. And try to manage your tax liability a little bit.
I see. Okay, very good.
Do you have your estate documents done?
I just have a will. I don't have an estate plan.
Yeah, but what happens to all right, I hate to be brutally honest with you, but like if something happened and someone had to pull the plug, do you have like a healthcare proxy?
Yes, I do. I do. My
all
siblings.
Right.
My siblings. Yes.
And as long as you have a will and it's up to date and your beneficiaries are up to date, I think you're good. I think a
Okay.
strategy should be a little bit more focused on like, how can I make this more tax efficient, but
Okay.
also give yourself permission to spend money. And I'm going
Okay.
to tell you something. If you're telling me that even if you gave up, you have a pension, the fun part-time job you keep doing for as long as you're going to do, but at some point you'll stop doing the fun part-time job, but then you're going to get Social Security. So
Right.
you're good. You're in great shape. You're allowed to spend your 30 grand a year on a trip.
Okay.
Where are you going?
Okay.
Where's our trip? Where should we go next? What's
Europe.
our next? Europe. That's one of Mark's favorites. He loves doing it. So we give you permission and we tell you to go and
Okay.
I hear
Okay.
the worry, but you're in really good shape.
Okay. I mean, our house is, aging. So there is like, I want to remodel the bathroom, maybe upgrade a car. So, it's like I have things I can do. It's just having the permission to myself to say, you can do it.
Yeah,
And I'm
you can
having a
do it.
hard time switching to that mode.
I
But you've
understand
encouraged
that.
me.
Yeah, you are in great shape. You
Okay.
really are. And so I don't want you to worry about it. I think you can do it, and we are so happy that you got in touch with us because we really want you to be able to have that permission structure and also to know that if you feel like you want to splurge on something, there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing at all. You are entitled. You worked hard. You did what you had to do. As you said, fortunate. All that being said, go and spend some money for God's sakes.
Okay.
Come on now.
Okay. Thank
All
you.
right. All right. If you are like Joan and, the numbers don't have to be as big, gang. I get it. If you just feel anxious and you really are having a hard time switching from accumulation to decumulation, give us a holler. We can walk you through it. And for some people, by the way, you're not going to be able to do 55. Maybe you're going to have to do 65, or maybe from age 55 to 65, you're going to have to figure out a fun part-time gig or something like that. If you need some guidance about this, or maybe you're just starting off in your career, you want to be Joan. Who doesn't want to be Joan? Give us a holler. Go to JillOnMoney.com, click the contact us button, and let us know if you would be willing to come on the air live. All right. While you're on the website, don't forget you can buy my book, The Great Money Reset. You can subscribe to the free weekly newsletter, and you can also check out our YouTube show called Jill on Money, powered by The Compound. You can subscribe to us on the Odyssey app or wherever you find your favorite podcast. Please leave us a rating and review wherever you listen. All right. Do something nice for someone else today. Please, it's going to make them feel better. It's going to make you feel so much better. Change your work, change your wealth, change your life. Thank you for listening, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.